I love instant noodles, but they've kind of taken over the college meal space. So I wanted to give you a few alternatives that strike that same balance of easy, cheap, and tasty for when you don't feel like eating noodles for the 5th time in a week. Alright, so this first meal might be my favorite. It's packed with protein and doesn't require any appliances other than a microwave. I'm talking about tuna mayo rice. At its core, this recipe is really only 3 ingredients: a can of tuna, some hot rice, and a squirt of mayo. But we can make it better than that. I like to add sesame seeds, sesame oil, and soy sauce as a base seasoning, and then you can go wherever you want from there. I'm adding a bit of Sriracha to make it a little spicy here, but you do you. Just nuke your rice, drain the tuna, and mix everything up in a bowl, and you've got it. You can make this even better if you have some seaweed. If you crush it up and put it on top and then mix it together when you eat it, it kind of tastes like a hand roll. As you can see, I've added some fresh ingredients like green onions and kimchi to my bowl too. With all these meals, I'm going to give you a base recipe, and then you're free to change it up how you like depending on what you might have at home. Here I'm adding some pickled red onions. And that's a great bowl of tuna mayo rice. Alright, on to the next one. For the second dish, I'm bringing it back to a classic. This meal is the definition of comfort food for me. I grew up eating these fried eggs and rice bowls all the time. They are an exercise in perfection and simplicity. I'm going to show you how I fry my eggs perfectly every time. Make sure you've got a steaming bowl of rice ready to go, because once the eggs are done, you don't want to have to wait. First, start by heating your pan. I'm heating mine on medium heat here. Once it's hot, add in some oil and swirl that around. It took me a long time to figure out what everyone meant by waiting until the oil shimmers. So the way that I tell oil's ready is when it moves around really fast. You can see that when I first put oil into the pan, it moves slower. It almost looks thicker than when it's fully heated up. Don't wait too long to crack the eggs in after the oil's ready, because we don't want it to start smoking. After you've seasoned those eggs, this is my trick. I like to cover the pan with a lid so the tops cook at the same time. This is way easier than flipping them and ensures that the yolk stays runny while cooking the whites all the way through. Peek through the lid every once in a while, and when it looks how you like it, slide those eggs onto the rice you prepared earlier. Now just top it with some soy sauce and chili oil, or sesame oil if you don't want it to be spicy, and that has got to be the most comforting dish ever. My final dish might be the easiest because it requires 0 heating. I'm making Taiwanese Sentry Egg Tofu. Sentry eggs might be a little bit harder to find depending on where you live, but I think you should be able to get them shipped to you online if you can't find them locally, because they preserve really well. Once you've got all your ingredients, all you gotta do for this one is chop your eggs up into nice bite-sized pieces. Then mix the sauce together and serve it on top of the tofu. I like to add pork floss and fresh herbs to make it even better, but the core of this dish is just the tofu, sauce, and Sentry eggs. If you never had Sentry eggs before, they have this kind of funky, sulfurous smell, but they're really tasty, and the texture is like nothing else. Combined with the silken tofu, I think this dish is just so fun and tasty. I can still remember the first time I tried this dish at a restaurant with my family, and it blew my mind. I was really happy when I finally learned how to make it at home, and I hope that you guys can enjoy it now too. All 3 of these fueled a lot of late nights for me in college, and I hope they can help you out too. I've got more detailed recipes in the description, and if you try any of them out, please let me know what you think. I've got a bunch more video ideas related to the system I designed in college to help keep myself fed. So if you enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe and tune in next time. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it.